In light of all the drama surrounding the seemingly endless scandals relating to gambling in CSGO, now seems like a good a time as any to give my personal thoughts on the subject matter at hand. So, before some of you dismiss this video as circle jerking the anti-gambling rhetoric, at least do me a solid and hear me out.
Wow! How original!
As a quick summation, I'm going to be briefly talking about how gambling in CSGO affects my channel and others like it, why I probably won't ever have any gambling sponsorships, and how I believe these scandals may affect the future of skins in CSGO. So, as a predominantly CSGO YouTuber, I mean, I have other types of videos but nobody watches them, skin gambling sponsorships do present a rather substantial temptation for channels like mine, greatly influencing the types of content produced. Now, while my channel is obviously nowhere near as popular as other CSGO YouTubers like 3Clickslip, 3Clicksphilip, or Hunger Games, oh, for fuck's sake! I'm still inundated by requests from random gambling sites to create promotional videos in exchange for money. Oh, look at how popular I am, getting all these gambling sponsorship offers. Oh, fuck. Most, if not all of these offers are from what I like to refer to as D-tier gambling sites. That is to say that they're mostly new upstarts looking to catch the gambling gravy train. Choo-choo! And while their offers may look pretty shady, we are a company that sells CSGO skins. We just need you to put our link on your channel, and then you can get a number of money from us. I have no doubt that the money offered is certainly real. This is what I mean by substantial temptation. For channels like mine, or any others under 100k subs for that matter, you basically make pennies on the dollar for the amount of work hours you put into creating content for your channel. Personally, as a poor college student, being offered an instantaneous lump sum to pay for your next meal is certainly enticing to say the least. So you have to understand that many of these smaller channels that are sponsored by gambling sites aren't necessarily bad or shady people, although a few bad apples can spoil the bunch. Obviously, I don't have any gambling sponsorships, not because I don't need or want the money, I mean, I sure as hell could use it, and contrary to what seems to be the new trending groupthink, it's not because I have some ethical principles declaring all gambling as evil. To be honest, I think gambling can be fun, provided that nobody is cheating, and you go in with a realistic mindset. Any money you gamble with, you should expect to lose, because that's probably what's gonna happen. Of course, I understand that many gamblers in CSGO may be underaged, perhaps lacking the life experience to know when to stop, but the act itself still requires an inherent understanding of the consequences that follow.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Now, I'm not excusing or condoning the predatory nature of these unsanctioned gambling sites, which essentially profit off of children's lunch money. But I can't fault them entirely. There should be a degree of responsibility from the parents of said children. One of the things I don't understand is where exactly are these kids getting all this money? But I digress. The biggest reason I don't take sponsorships from CSGO gambling sites is because they are unregulated, and I don't trust them. For good reason. When some of the largest and most successful gambling sites, like CSGO Diamonds, are implicated in scandals for manipulating winner outcomes, what trust is left for other unregulated gambling sites to play fair? Worse still, as I'm sure many of you are aware, H3H3 recently published an expose on several Call of Duty YouTubers who have been promoting and playing on a gambling site that they themselves secretly owned.
Let's go, boys! Alright, so I'm gonna open up my trade offers. Look at that! Woo! Off to a hot start, baby!
Originally, I had like a 10-minute rant slamming these scumbags, but then I remembered I'm trying not to circle jerk, so I'm sure you guys get the idea. But besides the whole thing being shady, scummy, and probably illegal, more importantly, this whole fiasco puts a huge negative stigma on CSGO as a whole. Like I said, a few bad apples. But that's what happens when you have an influx of unregulated gambling. However, I stress that the main issue I have is not with gambling itself, but with the shady, unregulated gambling scandals that will undoubtedly affect Valve and CSGO for the foreseeable future. As we're seeing now, people are starting to negatively associate what I like to refer to as Valve's gachapon system with unregulated gambling. What's the difference? Well, most importantly, Valve actually regulates the drop rates for each of their cases, meaning they don't change or disclose the algorithm to favor specific individuals. In all my years of playing Valve games on Steam, not once have I heard of an insider trading scandal with any of Valve's gachapon systems. Of course, any variant of the gachapon system can technically be described as a form of gambling. In fact, you could probably argue that claw machines could also be considered as such. In which case, exploiting children for their lunch money has always been marketed as a popular pastime in the form of arcades and prize ticket machines. Look at this rat. He knows what he's doing. Oh, fuck! It's just that the word gambling has such a negative connotation attached that people feel the need to refer to it as something else. Admittedly, my examples do have their differences, but considering that virtual gachapon systems are widely adopted in the structures of most video games today, I think of it as a natural progression and evolution, from prizes in arcades to skins on the internet. Unfortunately, the general public probably won't see it in this way. With the many debacles and scandals surrounding unregulated, I stress unregulated CSGO betting, it's understandable that some people tend to associate anything to do with CSGO skins as bad. So what does this mean? Well, as we've seen, instead of suing the unregulated gambling sites that took their money in the first place, people will attempt to sue Valve itself. Why? Well, quite simply, it's because they have more money to gain by suing Valve. In this latest lawsuit, these assholes are essentially trying to fault Steam's API for allowing users to link their accounts to third-party sites. They're essentially trying to sue the messenger. But why is this important? Surely Valve has enough money to survive a frivolous lawsuit, even if they do somehow lose. Yes, while monetarily it may not seriously affect Valve, but this lawsuit combined with the misguided hostility toward their gachapon systems will ultimately bring about negative consequences to CSGO, and potentially all other Valve IPs. How so? Well, seeing as Valve has already increased trade holds, added escrow, and even tried to block multiple gambling sites, the only viable solution I believe they have left is to either drastically neuter Steam's API, which I don't even know how or if it would be possible, or more realistically, make all skins account-bound or untradeable. So, not only would this mean the death of trading in CSGO, and perhaps even Dota or TF2, but it would also destroy the value of any skins associated. I don't know about you, but I don't want that. And I reckon the only people who do are those who don't actually play the games. Still, that's probably the worst case scenario. There's a reason why Valve hired a dedicated economist, so hopefully things will manage to work themselves out for the better. Honestly, I believe this whole backlash to be more of a transparency issue between certain crooks and their unregulated gambling scams, rather than an ethical issue of gambling altogether. I can't stress enough the differences between unregulated gambling and Valve's current gachapon system. We should be placing the blame squarely on the assholes who exploited the community by doing something shady, instead of blaming Valve and the community as a whole. As such, I do strongly agree that there needs to be some sort of regulations, or at least harsh repercussions, to prevent this type of gambling fraud. I'm just afraid that after the process, trading and skin values may be destroyed as a result. Well, what can you do?
Let's do something stupid.
It's a complicated situation with no obvious definitive answer.
What do I do?
About gambling.
I don't know. I'm a bee. I'm just a little bee.
As such, there are certain aspects of this topic that I haven't fully expanded on, as this video is merely a rough summation of my concurrent thoughts in between working on my other breakdown videos. So let me know what you guys think about gambling in CSGO. I'm always open to new ideas presented through discussion. Whether for good or ill, gambling has become a huge part of CSGO history, and I believe we are now at a crossroads that will ultimately decide the future of CSGO, and perhaps Valve itself. Like I said, I have nothing against gambling when it's regulated. Still, you can bet that I won't be accepting any gambling sponsorships anytime soon. Oh my god. Oh, fuck!